you're over the age of 35, stop everything you're doing right now. After a lifetime of eating fatty foods, you may run the risks of a stroke or heart attack due to plaque buildup in your veins and arteries. To learn how you can reduce your risks, visit youthfountainlab.com or call 1-800-853-7856 today. This may be a life-changing call for you or someone you love. Thank you, and we hope to hear from you.
Yo, what's good? This is Busy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony. Y'all watching Hip Hop Uncensored podcast.
Video, man. I want to start off with this story right here, man. I'm gonna talk about Dame Dash a little bit. Today, where he was actually doing an interview on All the Smoke podcast. Shout out to them over there. They got their beautiful podcast going on. He was talking about Camron back in 2005 being shot for depicting or playing Alpo, and they changed his name. I think it was like Rico in the movie, but he was playing the character Alpo, and we found out today that, according to Dame Dash, this was the reason that Camron was actually shot, was because they took it that serious, him playing a fictional character, not a fictional character, but a fictional character of a real person, right? And they shot him over that, according to Dame Dash, man. It's almost kind of hard to believe, like, really, over a movie? But again, you know, he was, I think he's like leaving like a Howard party at the time. He pulled up to a light. They opened fire on him at the time. They said he had like $200,000 worth of jewelry on him. They didn't get no jewelry. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. They didn't get any jewelry, but he got shot, I think, in both arms. He was definitely shot twice. And we found out today that was the reason why. What do you think about that?
Where was it again? Where did he get shot at again?
D.C. And you know, Alpo's out in D.C.
It's crazy.
It's like sending the message like, "I dare you play this nigga."
Yeah, it's not fair. It wasn't fair.
Nah, it ain't fair at all.
In the fact, and he played a hell of a role. He depicted a character, and he did his job. You know what I mean? The outcome of the true story had nothing to do with him, but it just goes to show you how real shit is out here,
right?
And what the end result ultimately was, and we still don't really know reasoning as to why Alpo surpassed the bullets and why he's now no longer here. But one could assume pretty accurately, you know what I mean, reasonings as to maybe some reasons as to why, or giving some excuses as to why, given his past and his history.
I mean, if they hitting the dude that played you,
come on, man,
he shouldn't have been in New York. Period. Remember the guy we interviewed, the FBI, I forget his name off the top of the head, but we interviewed one of the guys that he wasn't directly on this case. I think he was going after Wayne Perry, but like things intertwined. I think he got to know Alpo, talked to him a few times, and he, you know, said that they would have never advised him to be anywhere near New York City. Like, that was a red alert, like red flag, like nowhere near that, because you could be killed. Or DC in that matter. But yeah, sorry to cut you off.
No, you good. You good. Nah, I mean, and it's unfortunate that Camron, like I said, had to go through that, but you see a lot of these rappers and what they doing now and what they portraying now and how they sitting back and almost living this lifestyle in real time, like a Tekashi, flaunting the fact that, and I only bring him up because he's one of the most famous. He damn sure ain't the only one, but flaunting the fact that, yeah, I did this, I did that, making it almost popular to do, and just given the culture and how serious it is back then, it's totally different to how it is now and based even off of code, because you wouldn't see something like that happening right now in regards to that text. Like, could you see somebody playing Tekashi and getting shot before Tekashi?
No.
Nowadays?
No way, not now.
No way. It's just, I don't know, it's just interesting.
And that was on another level. I think the Alpo thing,
yeah.
I think, you know, Tekashi, you know, still rat is a rat, obviously. You know what I mean? But I just find it crazy that they would actually, you know, take it that far. I always thought that Cam got shot over some Rockefeller shit. Because you remember Jay-Z had said niggas throwing rock signs outside the coop.
Yep.
I forgot what song. I think it was one of them songs on, I think, Blueprint 3, where he was doing this Camron diss, referring to the time he got shot in D.C. So, I didn't know it was over that. That's new news. How come you ain't talk about that in our podcast, Dame?
Okay. So, I mean, shout out to Dame Dash, because we got nothing but love from Dame Dash, you know what I mean, for coming on the show.
Right, definitely.
Damn sure why he talk about that. That would have been dope. But, so, are you kind of insinuating that this may be a little fabricated?
No, I just don't know. I just don't know. I'm going off what Jay-Z said in the song.
Okay.
Was he lying? Was he, you know, I know he said that niggas throwing, you remember that thing?
Yeah.
Niggas throwing rock signs outside your coop.
So does it, is Dame Dash saying this to kind of go against the grain on Jay? It's just interesting that all these pieces kind of play into play.
Yeah.
And the fact that DC, Rico, Wayne Perry, we all know the situation Alpo and now Jay-Z, Dame.
Right.
It's just that
I think it could both could honestly
the mind games.
both could be true at the same time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe they did, not to say that they was down with Rockefeller, but I guess at that time, that was about the time it was going back and forth.
Yeah,
it was about the time it was going back and forth. So one can assume that, but I kind of honestly more believe Dame, because I think he even referenced, like, if you listen to the whole clip, like Camron even saying, like, because they were supposed to do a part 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dame was trying to get him for like the part, you know what I mean, or something associated with him. And he was like, nah, fuck that, because I got shot over that.
Damn.
I'm pretty sure that's what went down. If I'm wrong, I stand corrected. But yeah.
And Cam's never spoke about that, obviously. And
I have never heard him. I've never heard him speak about that.
To see, give like a reason, do you know why, kind of shit.
Did they ask him on Drink Champs? Probably not.
I don't really watch the whole shit, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
I doubt it. That would have been everywhere.
Right.
Interesting, man.
Can't play around on DC, man. Like, and a lot of places, but that's one of those places where, he actually had bodies, a lot of bodies out DC. He ruined a lot of families. When I say ruined, I mean Alpo, the real Alpo, not Camron. And I think it was just sending a message, like, you playing a rat, you associating with a rat, we'll shoot your ass.
I wonder how, like, in certain situations, because Cameron's not the first and only actor. He won't be the last to kind of portray somebody real controversial, especially killing and doing kind of wild shit that obviously Alpo did. Does this happen a lot? Like, do actors have to worry about this when they play certain person, like crazy actors? We know, like in wrestling, I'm thinking about WWE, some of them bad guys or some people that if you don't like, the fans really take it to another level where they mistake the art from real life.
Right.
And they don't understand that there's definitely a difference. These are real people acting out characters that we enjoy watching. Mm-hmm. Same goes with fucking Rico, Camron, and how he played Alpo.
Right.
When you look at that, like, we hated him at the end because of what he did, but that's just goes to show you how magical the performance was given by Camron, that we had such an emotional attachment. If you got wild motherfuckers that couldn't detach the emotional fakes out to the real, that's dangerous sport too, boy. God,
yeah. I can't say it won't happen again, but I think that was just one of those unique situations. Like, you're Camron, you played Alpo, you in DC where all this shit went down. I'm gonna shoot you. You beefing with Jay-Z. I think it was just like the perfect storm.
Yeah.
At that time, I can't really see it happening again. Like, if somebody would have played somebody played Hitler, so they gonna shoot him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or somebody played the dude out in Russia. What's his name? Forget the nigga. Yeah, Putin. You know what I mean? Like,
I forget that nigga. You know what's crazy? What was I about to say? You fucked me up with that one. Damn, I forgot. I lost my train of thought, but it's all
cool.
good.
Yeah, man. But it is what it is, man. With this whole thing, interesting. What we talking about Dame though. We're gonna talk about this other story with Dame Dash too, man. He was actually sued, and we talked about the lawsuit, I think, when it first popped off, but he lost a massive lawsuit the other day when a jury handed down an $805,000 dollar judgment to the Dear Frank director Josh Weber and Muddy Waters Pictures. Shortly after the news broke, Rockefeller Records co-founder shared a screenshot of the TMZ story saying that, you lose some battles to win a war. Stay tuned. Right now, Dame Dash was originally hired back for the movie in 2016, but he was ultimately removed from the project because he was deemed unfit for the job. Now, Weber and Muddy Water Pictures claim he was always high on the set while shooting the film, and they got rid of him. Now, in 2019, they sued Dame Dash for copyright infringement and defamation, claiming, right, that he tried to shop Dear Frank around on his own. They also alleged that he sent promotional material to networks such as BET, but changed the film's title to List. Now, Dame argued they shot the film at his home using all his equipment. And, so that kind of is what it is. So they got rid of him. He still tried to, move forward like it was his, but he claimed that it was all his stuff and he did the movie. It was his movie. But ultimately, they ruled against Dame Dash.
This is the shitty part about the shit that we do, because ultimately we got to just keep it real sometimes with people we like and we respect and we got love for. And Dame Dash is one of these people today, because when you look at this situation, unfortunately, I got to keep it 1,000. When you looking at copyright court, it's pretty cut and dry. Paperwork is what it is.
Yeah.
It's laid out. It's not based off of emotion. It's based off of cut and dry work.
Right.
And then the evidence is outstanding. If in fact you were booted off for whatever reason, people can argue it, but if those were their rules, they were their rules, and whatever the reason is, it is. But then go and grab the project further, and there's documents that you went and shopped it to BET and various other networks, under alias, whatever the case may have been, and still use promotional works to promote and shop the movie. And then it ultimately made me think about what Irv Gotti said. I think he was on Drink Champs when he talked about Dame and how he had love for Dame, but that, and gave an example of a situation that kind of happened just like this is kind of playing out right now. So I don't know if this is a pattern in behavior, maybe in his DNA, that I don't mean that in a negative way, but just kind of maybe who he is. That when he has something in his mind, like he said that he used his crib and they used, that may all be true. But
Right.
if you didn't own it,
You ain't on it.
you ain't own it.
Right. He also called them culture vultures. Dame Dash called them culture vultures as well. Yeah, got to keep it 100. Got to keep it 100 on this. If they had the evidence in court, I mean, I'm not gonna sit up here and say the court is always 100% fair, but I think, at times it is. At times, the judge allows you to bring your side and someone else to bring their side, and if you got documentation, contracts, text messages, things like that you can prove your case, then you just prove your case. And we got to just go and look at it, for how it is. And like, all right, you lost this. Now you owe, damn near $1 million, to this film company, man. It's crazy, man. My thing is, love Dame Dash, love what he stands for, the independence and everything. But I think when you start to see a pattern with someone or something, I think you have to tend to believe, or look into what that pattern is, whatever that may be. And if people keep having bad situation after bad situation with people, then I think you kind of just got to just go for what it is. Like, all right, this person may be the problem in these different situations. That's 100% keeping it real.
He loves to get in front of his own narrative. He's quick to acknowledge what's going on and kind of make sure that we understand that he has everything under control, right? Do you think he has everything under control all the time?
Not with this.
I mean, yeah, it's clear.
I mean, because you say he jumped in front of his narrative, so pretty much meaning like I'm gonna post a story now and let people know, like, all right,
exactly what he did.
You lose some, you win some. You know what I mean? I lost this battle, I'm winning the war. What's the war in this? Is there any war, or is it just over?
800,000 is a heavy fucking blow.
Right, ain't no war. It was just a battle that's lost. What you gonna do? Appeal it? Like, I mean, that's a possibility, I guess, but
it's too much money. That's a lot of money.
Right, it's a lot of money, man. That's a lot of money to be kicking out. And the thing is, once something like that happens, then you get a judgment against somebody. Now it's a court order. Now they can begin to try to come after Dame, whatever that may be that he owns in his name, which is probably not much at this point if he knows how to move, because he's had problems before. But we weren't there, but all we got to do is go by what the court said. And if the court said it, they said it.
It's pretty.
What y'all want us to do?
This ain't no murder case where you got or a Rico charge where you got FBI maybe doing some things to make it go their way. This is copyright and evidence. Like,
he took the movie. They said he took the movie.
It's crazy.
He tried to put it under another name. Like, he's pretty much saying it's a movie, but you got to be able to prove that. And obviously, he didn't prove it in court.
With that said, oh God, right? We look at this situation, right? And it was about a movie, this situation right here. He's about to pay out.
Right.
And then we go back to the last conversation in regards to paid in full. We know he's doing paid in full too. And he's really out front of that. In your honest opinion, do you think that this is going to be successful given his track record with a lot of films? Some films are great, state prop, paid in full. He's done a bunch of great films.
Yeah.
But there's also been situations where he's partnered up and did certain things where it didn't go too well. What do you think the success rate of paid in full will be too?
I hope he could pull that off. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say he can't. I think it definitely can. Yeah. It depends on him. Like, is this a project that he's going to finish? Because remember the Culture Vultures movement, we talk about that. I think we had him on the podcast. We asked Dame, what happened with that whole situation when he went to apologize to Lior. Yep. That shit was the most powerful thing in hip hop. Imagine like now where that would have been at, the whole Culture Vultures, the part 2, and that shit is dead now, dog.
You know what's fucked up about that? And I don't mean to cut you off.
Nah, you good.
We were sitting here at one of the platforms spearheading that shit and trying to help.
Oh, yeah.
Loved it. You know what I'm saying? Loved the movement and really walked and talked what they were trying to represent in that book. You know what I'm saying? And built something based off of that. Wasn't the ground of why we did what we did. But when we look at a book like that, it gives us motivation doing what the fuck we're doing.
Right.
To go out here and keep grinding because of the at the end of the rainbow, we see what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? We see what's good with it. The pot of gold is sitting right there, and this is what we're working towards. And then we see the pieces in play, and not so much Kenyatta, because shout out to the brother, he's grinding. But the biggest piece in play, Dame Dash continuing to go through these things is tough. And like you said, culture vulture, please.
And it was nothing, I don't think it was nothing wrong with that movement. You know what I mean? I think it just got too hot. Cause look at Bollywood. You know, maybe Hollywood wasn't giving, East Indians, opportunity. So what they do? They create Bollywood. Bollywood, if I'm not mistaken, is bigger than Hollywood now. So there's nothing wrong with creating your own and doing business with your own. Not to say that they wouldn't do business with nobody else, but they're making sure, like, all right, we own the studios, we own the set, we own everything from top to bottom. We're going to profit off of this and sell it to you. What's wrong with that? And we ain't letting certain people in unless, we sanction you and allow you in. That's what the whole thing, was about. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, is about just keeping, having your own kind of little fraternity, of people that do business with each other, but don't allow other people to come in and exploit what you got going on. You know what I mean? So I just think that with the whole thing, it just got too hot. And anytime you're going against the grain, right, I think people started to realize that you kind of need some of those outlets that you're talking out against. You know what I mean? To really move like you're going to move. Because what happened with the network joint? Have you heard anything about that?
Dame Dash Network?
Yeah, I don't know how that's going now.
Nah, me neither. I can't lie. Hope it's doing well.
I know. I mean, it's a noble idea.
Don't know.
It's a noble idea, but some people in life, I'm not saying this is necessarily Dame, they have a lot of great ideas, right? Mm-hmm. And I knew somebody like this, and they would, it's almost kind of bipolarism. They would say a lot of great things, and then when it's time to actually implement those things, it comes to like, oh damn, like it just don't get done. But you got all the idea, and everybody probably knows something like that.
Sure do.
They got mad ideas and this and that and that, right? But it's like when it's time to really get it done, like they know where to be found.